There's still too much junk in the way around here. Spare parts, steering cylinder back there, the blower off the top of the cab we took off, all that good stuff. Not to mention, ugh, yeah, the catch-all place. This video is for Rick Bork and anyone else that was interested. Rick is working in his shop, getting it set up. His shop was a horse barn, plus whatever, and nice little shop he's got in there. For me, it's not tall enough, I don't think, but this one isn't either. Our doors from floor to the bottom of the header is 14 feet, because that's legal height for anything in the state of Oregon. Yeah, the bale wagon's about 3 inches high, and then given the slope out here when it comes up, it makes it actually higher before we can get into the building, and there's no way we can get it in. Bottom of the trusses is just over 15 feet. So one of these years, when I get mad and we redo the rotten doors, we're going to go the extra foot. Too many things get too close. But what Rick was working on is he's built him a nice wood bench on a couple of walls. I kind of prefer that one's all 4x12s. Used to run down to the other end of the lathe till we moved the lathe in there and just cut that section out. It's all 2x4 and 4x4 underneath it, or there's a 2x6 over there, but the main supports are 4x4s or better. Hey, it works. That's got a piece of chipboard over the top of it that's got like 10 layers of paint to seal the chipboard good, so even if we do spill something, you can wipe it off. But as you can see, it's a catch-all, so we haven't used it as a bench much. We used to. But he wants one with a vise on it. He was asking opinions on where to put it in his shop, and I like where the first spot he showed us. It was a good looking spot, kind of in the corner, out of the way more. But whenever you mount something out permanent, that's where it is. This old bench, when I was a kid, if you've seen much of the building we're in, the lowest bay is where our little stock trailer is. That used to be the bottom side of the machine shed. It was an old 2-bay lean-to. And this thing sat back in the back corner because that's what spot Dad had to work on stuff. It sat behind the old haybine, old 3-wheel haybine, so you had room in the corner. I don't know if Dad made this or my grandfather might have made this, but it's just old water pipe, and obviously, if you look at it, the angle iron underneath has been used for other things before. Used to just be the legs down and the cross piece down there. That's like one of the old U-channel formed fence posts, heavy fence posts. It didn't used to have a shelf under it, but we quit hauling cattle in a truck years ago. Those were the expanded steel down there was extensions to go up over the grain racks to keep cows from trying to jump out. That was a good use for them, was shelving. We have changed the wheels under them a couple of times. So originally it was just four-poster, stood there. When we built the shop and brought it in here, it actually used to slide in underneath the bench, right where the lathe is. That's kind of one reason it's still right there. It's a little too tall to go under the bench now. The last set of wheels that were on it, well, the original set of wheels we put on it after we built the shop, they were a little smaller. I recall I think I knocked a caster wheel off once. Tried to turn it, and it was in the wrong position to turn and too much weight on it. Next thing I knew, it dropped 6 inches to the floor or 5 inches to the floor, or whatever it was at the time. And we put heavier on. We've had engine blocks on it. It's not gone short of weight. Old Wilton vise on it. The one thing Rick was, oh my God, I break vices. Well, you need a good vice, Rick. Just saying. I've worked with some pieces of junk vices that you think you're going to break, and luckily you don't. And I've done a lot of work with this old Wilton. I actually had to change the swivel on it so you could tighten it up with a wrench, because there was no way you could tighten it up with them stupid little handles. I've been known to put something in the vise and put a cheater on it and put my foot up here on the table and pull. And I used to just pivot the vise around. But this is what I'm showing off for Rick. It's a 1/4 inch top. It ain't flat. I don't think it ever was. It's 2 pieces. You know, either 2 pieces of scrap that come out of the railroad somewhere out of their shop, or if Dad got it, God knows where it came from. But if Grandpa did, that's probably some scrap that the railroad had. Yes, the wheels do get a little hard to move when it's been sitting very long, but you know, it moves around nicely. We've added stuff to it. The little rod there is actually my idea to hold the electric cord up when you moved it around. It works. Works for hanging stuff too that you don't care to see very often. I'll slide her back around. Always hitting something on the floor. That's the drawback to around here. And of course we got, you know, old floor, a few cracks in it. The plug-ins on there. That was a friend of mine in high school actually put that together in electrical class or something. Then it was laying around in his shop and he wasn't doing anything with it. And he says, here, you can have that. Cool. So I hooked the cord into it and spot welded it on there, and it's been there ever since. I think we replaced one plug-in. Why are there so many? Because sometimes you need a lot. We usually use 2 or 3 at a time. And the cord just goes plugged into the wall. Cross brace over here has always worked great for holding clamps. You know, gotta have some place to put them. I don't use these near as often as we used to. But once in a while, you still need a good heavy clamp. Yeah, old wrench I mounted there, that actually fits the swivel nuts on here. So, and being the edge is cut off, you can slip a cheater over it. Cheaters are down there, along with a couple of receivers. Cord hangs there. That's just about the perfect cord for anything you want to do in here. I can get almost anywhere from here. And the grinder wrenches are there. Used to have all the electrical tools on here, but you know, when you get a few too many, then you got other things you want to throw here, like the rubbers and stuff there. That's mostly air diaphragms out of brake cans. They work good for parts. Used to have a bunch of those blue trays. We still do got a bunch. They're upstairs, but there used to be a couple stacks of those in here. Good place to keep the welding wire. The only thing with having a single wheel at this end is I've been known to get up on top of the vise to reach, or on top of the bench to reach something. And it's not too bad when you're standing there and you're not pulling on something, but as soon as you pull on something, it wants to tip. But like I say, you know, you just got to be aware that that can happen. You know, it's had stuff beat on it. It's been welded on. It's been whatevered on.
It's been grinded.
Sometimes those holes, I mean, I don't know why they're there. Maybe there was a vise mounted there at one time.
They come in handy for horseshoes when you're knocking nails.
But they come in handy for knocking things around. I've thought about trying to fix that seam up, but there's not much you can do because the 2 plates weren't even to begin with. There's a warp to it. It's not flat. That's what we got other things for if you need to start something out flat. You know, would it be nice to have a fancy welding table? Yeah, it would be, but I don't plan on having one either. They get beat up around here too much. So anyway, Rick, here you go, man. That's how we do it. Used to move it around the shop a lot years ago, but not so much anymore. This is, you probably want to know that, don't you? Because you were wondering what size you wanted to do too. Get my yo-yo out. If my yo-yo will come out. Ah. Yeah, it's only 33 inches by right on 5 foot. And it's not a bad size. And you probably want this part too. It is 33 inches tall. Is it the right height? Hell, I don't know.
For me, it is.
Yeah, Shorty says it's the right height for her. It's actually an inch taller than our sawhorses are. And we have run things, used it as a sawhorse, run things out, or you used a sawhorse to run things out onto off of it. Just throw a piece of 1-inch tube on top. But there it is. Way longer video than I was going to do. Explain too much about it. So Rick, I hope you like what we did. Be interesting to see what you come up with. Really can't wait to see it. And I hope you find a good vise. I'll swear by that one. It's been on this bench for, well, we took the old one off probably 30 years ago, 25 years ago anyway. Probably 30. The old one's still around. It's mounted on a truck wheel within a stand. It's hiding over in a corner.
No, it's not. It's down in the bay.
Oh, I lied. It's down in the next bay. It's kind of nice having a vise down there too. Only thing I do different, sometimes it'd be nice to have the vise on a receiver. I know guys that have done that. I've done that on trucks before too. 2 vices. Maybe one stationary like that. Maybe a receiver at this end. Because whatever you do, you want the main vise you're going to use right over a wheel. You want it on that end. That's the most support. We have tried flipping the bench over before, but I mean, you can always overcome those things. Stick a bigger block on it or something. I don't know. So anyway, that's what it is. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully it helped somebody out. Hopefully Rick figures his out. So hit the like button, subscribe. They say it's free. Ring the bell. Yeah, she's too tired to laugh. And stick around and see what the dogs do next. I'll bet they lay down there just about like that.
Can't forget Bluey.
Oh, I can't forget Blue.
He forgot about
He's
you.
going to hide.
Oh,
There he
I
is.
forgot about you, Bubby.
All right. Thanks for watching. Bye. Well, everybody, number 3. Getting flipped around and drugged. Not going too far. It's easier that way. This is the cow that I thought it was yesterday. This one happens to be right on her due date too. Things that never happen. So now there's 2 calves in here to get tagged and shot. And give them a couple days over here and then let them out. So Eeyore over there will have somebody to play with. And this will go on with another video. You get to see all about our shop bench for Rick Bork, and cows have been beating on the feeder too. I'm walking on the rail on top and it's settling back in. So let me see. Light ain't too bad. There, looky there. She says, I don't know about this. And that's 3 heifers. 3 on the ground, all 3 are heifers. Eeyore, spin you quick. Piglet, and I'm told the new one is Whinny. So if we're going that way, that's how the kids have decided it's going to be. The next one's going to be a bull calf, so it can be Pooh. All right, that's enough cow for now. Calf's up, cleaned up good. Needs to get to the bread basket, and then life is good. Thanks for watching, everybody.